I'm the underdog with the heroic heart. I'm Eric Jones Jr. I have to keep pushing for my kids. If I give up, what's that leave them with? Nothing. I have to understand that it's bigger than me. That it's not about me when I wake up and go to work. It's not about me when I'm reading and educate myself. It's not about me when I'm practicing my speeches. It's not about me. It's about my family. Hey. You're now tuned in to Underdog Talk. I'm your host, Eric Jones Jr., the underdog with the heroic heart, and I have conversations with successful underdogs. And today we have Miss Dawn Williams. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on and willing to share the knowledge that you have. Before we get into our conversation, today's episode is brought to you by Christian Dewan. Positive energy through your clothes. It's my personal brand, me and my son. If you use the promo code Underdog Talk, and Underdog is spelled UNDERDAWG, you get 15% off. The website is Christian Dewan, DEJUAN.com. And we have sweatshirts, we have hoodies, we have t-shirts, we have Father's Day and Juneteenth shirts coming up this week, so you can order them so you can, have your stuff ready. But again, use the promo code Underdog Talk and you get 15% off. So we're going to get into today's conversation with Miss Dawn, and she's going to help the audience. You're going to want to share this with your grandma, your auntie, your uncles, Sister Johnson at the church, all your elderly family members and friends, because she's going to talk to us about technology for seniors. So why did you want to help seniors, the elderly, with technology? What started that?
Uh, my grandmother, and I know ignorance sounds bad, but it's the truth. But her ignorance towards technology, it was concerning for me, and I know how much she values her independence. And so when I first noticed she was struggling with it, I just was like, it's not a big deal. But as time went on, 4 or 5 years and how technology advanced, I could see this is going to hinder some things, especially, with the onset of pandemic. And you saw, I know at least in my state, anybody who wanted the shots had to register online. So a lot of these elderly people were at the mercy of their children or at the mercy of people who were just, hopefully it was a neighbor, whoever, and more so I could help her be independent. Then I realized it was a problem within the elderly community, period. A lot of people, and particularly it's called the silent generation. That's past the baby boomers. They're considered the silent generation.
I understand, and I definitely understand where you're coming from. Because my grandma, I don't think she ever had a cell phone. She passed away when my son was 2. He's 8, so like 6 years ago. So she never had a cell phone. She always had the house phone. Like, so I understand, like, with elderly people or older people or the generation you said, the silent generation, like they're out the loom. Like, it's like, call the house phone, or if they do got a cell phone, they don't know how to turn the Wi-Fi on. Because my mom, she be struck. I'd be like, Mom, if you don't turn your Wi-Fi on, like, how are you at home and you don't have service, but you got the internet? Like, I'm not understanding this. And her growth though, just seeing her growth from now, she can post stories, put pictures, because she have a good phone and be like, all right, Mom, take the picture, and be like, send it. It take her, she'd be like, well, I gotta wait till I get to work and such gotta help me. And it's like, okay. And it's like, I get it, because it's new to them. It's like, okay, I don't really need all this, but I gotta have it because of the times we're in. So was it a struggle helping your grandma? Because that silent generation, they ain't so silent.
And I think it just depends on the situation. Like, we just came from tutoring two elderly people today. Um and I really hate to bring race into it, but I'm just going to be honest with you. It seems as though the ones that are middle class white in the area I'm in, where it's mostly Trump supporters, they are more proactive in saying teach me this stuff. Now, where I'm at, where my shop is, I'm also a hairdresser. It's like pulling teeth. Our community is like pulling teeth. It's I don't know if it stems from embarrassment of not knowing, and I can only speak for my own grandma. I know she's embarrassed because like when I pull out her phone, it's like she has no idea how to even open it, how to even turn it on. And it's just like, Dawn, just make it stop blinking. And I kind of let it go for as long as I could because it's not just me that she rejects, it's everybody. She has, 4 children, one of them passed. But she got a lot of grandchildren and she just automatically rejects it. And I had to recently sit her down. I ended up writing a book for this reason because it's hard for them to, if they learned using books, you see what I'm saying? Like our kids right now are in school using technology. So they're born into it. But the silent generation, everything was books. They learned differently. So that's why I wrote the books because I said they need big picture books, to sit them down. And so basically, to answer your question, when I sat my grandma down recently, I said, listen, I understand you get apprehensive about technology. I get it. I said, but you value your independence. And I said, at this point in time, you are dependent upon your children. You could pretend as though you're not. And I'm not saying that you're crazy or you look crazy. I said, but it only takes the right person coming around. You got doctors all the time in your business, nurses, for them to deem you not independent or incompetent. And the appearance of incompetence, it changes from generation to generation. So perhaps 20 years ago, it's not a big deal to not have a cell phone. But in 2022, you're going to need to have a cell phone, understand how to operate it, understand what emergency alerts are, because them doctors take notes. You go to a doctor's appointments, they're covering themselves legally. So they're writing if you're competent, if you need assistance, all that stuff, and unfortunately, when you're older, you're going to be in the hospital. It's different reasons why you're in and out the hospital. And they're taking notes. They're building a case to protect themselves. So you could look at it and say they're building a case against me, but no, they're building a case to protect themselves because if something happens, you ain't going to be able to sue the doctor saying they never told me I had to sign up for the COVID shot online, or they never told me that I could get my test results through the email. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a hard sell. I think it just depends on who it is, but in my county, they've been embracing it. They've been embracing it pretty much.
And I definitely understand, like with our community, like they so oh, I know it all, and it's like you really could learn from a young person. Like I be wondering why I don't want to say older because people get mad. Seasoned people. I don't understand why seasoned people feel like they know everything, but they don't. It's like it's a whole new generation. You could grandchild, your 14-year-old grandchild, your 2-year-old grandchild, because they know technology. They can help you. Like you said, they're born into it. If they don't understand it, then something wrong. Then we need to check them out. But they understand it to where they can help you. A 2-year-old could probably help a seasoned person because they know how to operate, a cell phone. And so I'm a preschool teacher. So I have an autistic student. He watches. He knows the password to get into the tablet. So he might see me working with the other kids and be like, hey, can I get the tablet? I'm like, yep. He go grab the tablet. He remember the password. Like, it's very simple. Like, it's very simple, like having a phone and just the basics, but they don't, like you said, they don't want to learn. And that's crazy that you brought that up about the doctor. I don't think people think about that. Like,
right.
That they're taking notes and saying, hey, this person's really not as independent as they think, because like you said, it's 2022. You got to have a cell phone. Like your child almost has to have a cell phone. They could be in first grade just because of the times we're in and what's going on in the world. Like, they should be able to know how to call mom or dad if something is going on, even if they got their phone in their backpack at school, because hey, you see what's going on in the world. So
exactly.
It's like with a seasoned person, it's like you have to have a phone. You shouldn't be where you get lost. It's a GPS on the phone. There's no reason you could get lost. You ain't got the big maps. Cause I remember my dad had the map, the atlas, and we going on vacation, and he he doing this and that, and he figure out how to get there. I'm like, okay, I guess. But now it's like you put it in and you can get there. It's like, hey, how you get here? It's called a
Right.
GPS. Hey, GPS, put it in, put the address in. You always can
And
ask for it. It's very simple stuff. Go ahead.
exactly. And what you were just to touch on what you were saying in regards to them not willing to learn, I think that it's more so from when I talk to people, Black people more specifically, like my client. It's that when they are learning from their children, from their adult children, the adult children don't possess enough patience, and not judging. I'm not coming from a standpoint of judgment. It's just that when they feel that you're getting frustrated teaching them something over and over again, then they just retreat and be like, forget it. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like a frustration. So when we sit down with these elderly people, it's kind of like how you're sitting down. You said you're a teacher with
Hmm.
preschoolers. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
almost when I talk to them, it's coming off in a sarcastic tone, but still respectful. It's like I'm teaching preschoolers. But I'll say this, they learn quickly and they retain the information really well. Like, and I have to keep telling them, they put themselves down too. I noticed that. And they'll be like, I'm just so stupid. No, you're not. You are not stupid. We're going to do this together because I had to, I think that it's the perspective that they have to understand is an exchange of information. It's not like, for example, I have a 13-year-old. We exchange information on, did you know Google Mini does this? Did you know TikTok does this? So it's not like I'm smarter than him in technology or he's smarter than me. It's just that I can teach him some things and vice versa. And also, um, what you were speaking on, how people don't have that perspective. I worked in a nursing home as the hairdresser in a nursing home for approximately 10 years. So I believe me, I have seen what happens, and people think their kids is going to be there, and going to be taking care of mama, so mama ain't got to go to nursing home. Your children are working to the age of 65 more than likely. If they're not entrepreneurs, they are up in age. They have to go to work. So who's going to take care of you 24 hours a day, depending on your level of care? So that's where technology steps in, because you don't have to be rich right now to have. Look at how they got Instacart. You see what I'm saying? You can have groceries
Hmm.
delivered to you. You can have laundry delivered to you, and you do not have to be rich. You can be independent based off of your phone and keep your manual calendar and your atlases, like you were saying. It's just you can deny it now, but technology is ever evolving. It's not stopping. And I just said that to my grandma. It's not stopping. You can go ahead and put your hand over your face and hope it go away. The only thing you're doing is putting everything on your kids. And I mean, everybody can't take care of you. I've been there. To be a caregiver to a parent is torturous. And I'm serious. Ask anybody who have to care for their adult parent. It is I mean, I can't describe it as anything other than horrible. It's horrible. It is horrible. And I did it during the pandemic. So I had free time. So if you have to keep in mind, if I could see if you're a vegetarian and you just in impeccable health, your average elderly person, they ain't doing all that. They're on a cocktail of pills. So you already on a cocktail of pills. You was a slave to the doctor. You have to go to the doctor multiple times a week. That's a mandated reporter. And just like you, as a teacher, are a mandated reporter, if you see signs of abuse, the doctor is a mandated reporter for elderly. So those are our two vulnerable groups: the little children that's under 18, and then the elderly people that's 65 and older, because they don't believe you. You come in there all effed up, you looking sick, that's a sign you cannot take care of yourself. Now you could talk all you want to. You understand when a social worker get involved, and social workers at all the hospitals. You see what I'm saying? Just like they got a guidance counselor at your school, correct?
Hmm.
Exactly. So it's like, I think that because I saw it, working in a nursing home, my perspective is a lot different. And it's an easier sell to the people down here where I live at than it is where I work at, which is probably 50 miles from here. Because it's like pulling teeth. I got like maybe one or two people that's willing to come to sit down for the class. But down here, oh, they lining up, honey. They lining up for the class. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, it really is. Because just to think about So say it's an elderly person. They waiting on May May to come pick them up. They waiting on Junebug, give them a ride. Junebug, oh, I gotta do this, that, and that. All they gotta do is get on their phone and download Uber or Lyft. Don't
Yes.
they don't gotta wait for
Yes.
nobody to come pick them up. Like it's simple. It's stuff that they don't even understand. Like what's Uber? What's Lyft?
Mhm.
You ain't gotta wait for a ride. You ain't
Mhm.
like you gonna give that person gas money anyways, because that's the type of person that generation is. They gonna give gas money, so you might as well go give gas money to a ride that'll take 5 minutes to pick you up, get you where you need to go. If you need to stop, you can get a. They might stop for you or whatever the case may be, and it's very simple. It's like and just like with my grandma, my mom had to take care of her, and it
Mhm.
was hard on my mom. Like she got kids, got to take
Mhm.
care of mom, and go to work is very hard. And then the elderly they're more needy. It's like as you get older, when you become elderly, it's like you're a toddler again, and it's like similar.
Mhm.
And I think what you were saying with the teaching, like if I was to teach my mom and she felt a certain way, I think that she's not elderly. She's close to the age, but she's not there at the 65 where you were saying. But that
Mhm.
generation above, they don't want to listen, or
Mhm.
they don't want to take advice from someone that's younger than them. And I think it's like
Mhm.
you don't know this. You know nothing about technology. You
Mhm.
when the internet came out, you barely, you might have had that. You didn't really pay attention to it. You wasn't in school learning about it. You didn't have to use it. Registers are simple. They a little updated touchscreens, but it's like they don't really think that they need to learn it. It's like you have to. Like it's gonna be a point where your money you're gonna have to because of your money. Like if
Mhm.
they could be at home and learning about stock, learning about Bitcoin because they
Mhm.
retired instead of living off a retirement check. But they don't know
Mhm.
none of these things because why? They don't want to get on their phone. The newspaper ain't got all the updates. You know what? Guess what? You can get on the news app and find out exactly what's going on. You can actually get on the app and know what kind of police activity is around your house. And
Yes.
it's like you don't want to learn that. You want to keep buying stuff. Well, I'm gonna buy this because I seen it on TV. Okay, well, this app is free. It comes along with your phone. All you gotta do is download it. They don't even know how to download an app.
Yes,
That's the
that's so
crazy.
true.
Like you don't know how to download an app. What are you talking about? And then
That's
it's
that's 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 so true. And that goes to language. It's like you're teaching them a different language. So
yeah.
like I have to explain to my students literally, I have to tell them that you have to learn this language because if something happened like this pandemic again where we're stuck in the house and you gotta call your service provider for help, you can't just say the thing right there on my phone, the circle thing. You have to know, okay, my internet browser isn't opening up. My email interface is looking this way. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I think it has to be broken down to them because it initiates fear, and like I had explained to them as well, um, technology makes a difference with business owners because it is better economically for us as business owners. And I had to say to my clients, and I said, even me as a hairdresser, I don't have to pay a reception. I have a free service that they just book the appointments. I don't even have to book it for them. You see what I'm saying? It just makes more economic sense for me to
Yep.
go along the lines of technology. Whereas when I started doing hair 20 years ago, there was no such thing as no booking online. So you had to be dependent upon the receptionist and hope they're competent enough to remember appointments and space them out appropriately. Times have changed. So it's like I can function three or four different businesses as a one-man operation. And why wouldn't I? You see what I'm saying? A lot of us small business owners don't have the finances to pay full staffs. We can't even pay ourselves. So I said, technology, I always keep saying technology not going nowhere. So y'all gotta embrace this. I mean, at least, check it out and see what it is. And then like you were saying with the Lyft and Uber, um, if you just go into Amazon, you see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You don't even have to go to the store. I barely feel like going to the store. You elderly, you could sit at home and track the package where it comes straight to your house. I order everything. Especially hair products. Like for my business and stuff, I order it because think of the time it takes. You got the gas money. Look how gas is going up. To drive to the store, go through all that shopping, it's not. It don't even make any economic sense anymore. It's just becoming that. So that's my goal, just for them to embrace it. I don't know. Look, if I come up with a trick to get Black people to understand, like really understand what I'm saying, it's a different. I don't know how, but like this lady I just was teaching today, she told me what happened to her, and while she's in my class, she said she got sick and then she ended up in a nursing home, and that's when she found out her kids basically didn't give a what about her, and they left her there. Yeah, that's how. And they left her there. They had to sell the house off, so she was stuck having to figure out how to get out this nursing home. She got out. She's independent. I said, "Oh, so your life is dependent upon this class?" She said, "Right." So maybe it takes something happening, But my whole thing is, let me help you see this before it gets to that point. You see what I'm saying? But I think they just kind of be like, oh, it's not a big deal. I really believe that older people just be like, it's not a big deal. It's not that serious. But once you see that them doctors is building a case, and I saw that with my own dad, where I'm explaining to him, because I'm naturally what you call pessimistic, where you just automatically think. I just think the worst. I automatically think the worst. And he's like, "Oh, you thinking too far, this and that." I'm like, the doctors don't give a f about you. Okay, they're building a case so you can't come back and sue them, and that's what they're doing. They're taking notes. You're incompetent. You having issues controlling your urine. You ain't taking your medicine on time. All this is leading up to incompetence. Cause see, at the end of the day, you ain't about to sue the hospital because they got a whole case on you. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And people they need to understand that. But they just was like, I think that, I don't know, I think it's just a thing of, and I think this goes across all racial lines, the appearance of competency. I think that people feel like as long as I just give the illusion that I'm okay, then it's fine. But you can't psych everybody out for the rest of your life. You can't do that. One day you're going to have to ask for some type of help because, oh yeah, and also another thing, this is what older people do too. They write everything down in little notes all across the house. And I told my grandma, they gonna label you as dementia. They gonna label you with dementia. I mean, think about it. You look crazy. You look crazy. You look crazy. I don't care how old you are. Writing little notes and leave them all across the house. If somebody walk in and see that, my first thought, I go to people's houses for a living. When I do people hair sometimes, aside from my shop. When I see people, and these are younger people who write notes for their family, I be thinking they got mental problems. Cause I feel like you don't want to say nothing to your family member, so you leave notes across the house. But when grandma do it, I get it. She's trying to remember stuff. You doing all this when you got a whole phone that could light up every time you need to know when something's happening.
Exactly. So, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
So, with your curriculum that you created, how does that help the seniors, and how can people that don't live where you live get the help? How can they get the help? But explain the curriculum.
Okay, so the curriculum is it's a lot of different ways I'm trying to reach out to seniors. So first of all, if you're in Maryland, I do the in-person classes in Calvert County, Maryland. You just, contact me. If you're not in Maryland, and even if you are in Maryland, right now I have 3 books, and my goal is to write a book every month. The book is not that long. Each book is probably like 35 pages, so that it'll get you through basics. Like some people don't even know how to charge their phone. What an internet browser looks like. What's the name of what's called an app? What's the difference between app and icon? A definition, stuff like that. So that right there, the written curriculum is for people who haven't yet got to the point where I can shoot you a YouTube video. So once you get to that level where you could email me and say, Dawn, I'm confused about XYZ. We got YouTube videos, and then also online curriculum where that's $10 a month, where you got access to additional videos that's not listed on YouTube. That's like detailed tutorials that walk you through things like how to schedule an email, how to schedule text messages, different things like that. So we got a lot of different ways of reaching people who are not um personally in front of me. And then also with the $10 a month curriculum, that one you're allowed to email me and ask me questions, as many as, as much as you can. And I think it's a limited amount of time you can call me, because I can't be on the phone all the time like that. But if you set up appointments, we could talk on the phone. But I think that's once they get to a certain level of advancement. I know that's hard to do a Zoom call and or me shoot you a YouTube video. So that's why I said let me start writing books, because like that's the only way when I teach the classes that they was keeping up with me, like everything written down. It has to be written, and then I literally have tablets at everybody's table, and they're following along on the PowerPoint presentation with me. I'm kind of forcing them to use it, so you can see the advancement. It moves quickly, especially once I think in person is necessary. My goal is for this to be nationwide. That's my goal, because a lot of these people that are in that generation are visual learners. I think we're different. In this day and age, I'm a millennial, but these little kids, Generation Z and all that, they learn different. They got information at their fingertips. They don't. It's not the same. And I think that the silent generation is just stuck. And some baby boomers too, they're stuck because they spent 18 years of their life learning in a visual way with the teacher sitting them down and writing on the chalkboard, So I think that we can't forget about them, and we need to do it in the same way they're used to. It's what's familiar to them, at least the learning aspect of it.
Understand that, and definitely the in-person thing. I think I'm that way. Like I'm like been in online communities and stuff, but I understand like the way of technology. But I'm a in the face to face type of person. Like I like to be up close. I like to read body language to see it. Like I can tell if how a person's energy and stuff of that sort. So I definitely I don't I'm born in the 86, so I don't know what generation I am. Am I a millennial?
Yeah, you're still a millennial. I'm at the tail end of millennial. So I'm right before generation. What's that? Generation X. I'm like right at the borderline, because I was an 81, and I think that 80 is where it that goes to Generation X. So I'm at the tail end. So you still a millennial.
So you're elderly you're elderly to me. Okay, I get it. Nah, I had to throw that in there just because I think you said older a couple times, and I don't want nobody. I didn't say it, audience. Anyone that's listening, it was never me. It was always Miss Dawn. So don't be offended by anything that I've said today. I've corrected myself. You're seasoned. You're not older. Don't really know what the older really means anymore, because if you say that, you definitely will get cut. They will beat you up. So I've learned that.
You know
But
what? Maybe I should change it and just say, because the curriculum called technology for seniors. Maybe I should refer to them as seniors and stop doing elderly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe say technology for the seasoned. Yeah,
Yeah,
who knows?
maybe. But we'll
Yeah,
see. Look, who gets offended? Because I know you got to be real careful and walk on eggshells with how you refer to older people, because some of them don't even want you to
see,
call them Miss.
I didn't even say older. It's elderly. I don't even know what older means. You're not gonna get me caught up in your buffoonery. Yeah, nope.
Look,
Nah.
some of them don't even want me to say Miss such and such, because I'm old school. I was brought up to call people who's old enough to be my mother or grandmother by Miss. At least they'd be like, no, don't do Miss. They want me to call them by their first name. So I find that it's so interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. Um, yeah, it's funny how technology really is how like So, we both grew up since you're older than me. Um, when internet first started, and if somebody called the house, it would mess up the internet. Like,
Oh, so you look, you older than you saying you are. Oh, so you was with the AOL with the dial up
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that.
definitely. And when we made CDs, you can go on, you can like, stream anything. So it's definitely, even for us. Well, we were the first kind of ones to get the internet, and it's like crazy to see how it is. And we had to just get a van. Remember, like our first cell phones. You couldn't talk till after 9 o'clock. Now it's unlimited. Like they don't know about it was limited texts. You only had like 300 texts a month. Like I remember
Yeah.
I first went to college. I went over my minutes and my text messages. My mom said, "Yeah, I need you to send that phone home." I said, "What?" I'm in college and no phone freshman year. I had to work. I had to get me a job and get me a phone again because my mom said, "Yeah, let me get that." My sister still had it. She took over the phone and she got the same number since. But yeah, I'm like, man,
Wow.
just thinking about like how far we've came
Hmm.
and with technology, and not just for because I'm kind of old school with the phone. All I really need to do is text and call people, but you got to have these apps, especially when you're an entrepreneur or going for entrepreneur and you got content and everything. Like it's so crazy how you can just record your daily life and people will love it and you'll be a YouTube star or an
Hmm.
Instagram person because that's how technology. Like I think some of the season almost got caught up in your buffoonery, but some of the season, if they just recorded themselves, they would be hilarious. They would like podcast is the ways. I be telling a lot of season like, man, get you a podcast because you're funny because they're gonna give out knowledge, but they're just so honest. It's hilarious, and it's like
Yes.
they don't even know what a podcast is. It's like a podcast. That it's a radio show, really. It's just like a radio
Yes.
and they don't really even understand that part of it, how they could when they're retired they can still make money. You can learn about stocks on your phone. You can learn about Bitcoin, NFTs. You could do online real estate, like all these different things that are simple to learn, but they don't even know how to operate the phone.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna take it a step further. The first class I taught down here, they was looking at me crazy, and I kept trying to figure out why is they looking at me like this. And then I stopped. I said, how many people have a Apple or Android? They didn't even know if they had an Apple or Android, and that I bust out in a sweat because I didn't. I was like, oh my god, that's what made me write the book. Because I said, if they don't even know if they have Apple or Android, do you know how far back you got to start? Like, because I need you to be able to recognize it. Because like I told them, you could be out on the street. We were talking about that earlier about phones. You could be out on the street. There is no more pay phones. You're gonna have to have your phone that you're able to pull out, and maybe something happens to your phone. What if you're walking down the street and you need to use somebody else's phone and they say, yeah, you can use my phone, but they got an Apple and you're used to Android? That's what I'm going that far, teaching them like how to recognize Apple from Android, how to open it up. So, that's where the presentations come along, go, coincide with that because you could just pull it up. And the ones who have Androids, I make them use the Apple Pad, the iPad, so that, they understand, so that they're not scared. I think it's a fear factor. I really believe it's a fear factor in it because I'm guilty of it as well. Like when Cash App first came out, I refused to get it. I was like, no. And then a clients kept asking, and I said I would be an incompetent business owner to not embrace change. So I just was like, let me just get the Cash App, and different things, Venmo, all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely glad that the barbers, because it's like nowadays we don't have cash on us. Like it just dang, I gotta have cash. It's like no, I can just cash app you. And my dad for the longest, like he'd be like, oh, I'm gonna send you some money. He had to send it through my sister to send it to me, and I'm like, man, just get a cash app. It's very simple. And now he got cash app. It's so funny to see him text me. It's like with me and my mom's relationship, like we don't talk, we talk on the phone through messenger because we can video, when we call each other we video, and that's
Right.
just for her to even be able to do that, I've seen her come a long way just on social media and understanding it and understanding like you gotta like if you're gonna be on social media, you gotta learn some of these things to be able to really function through. And it's like you don't want to just have a phone just to even if you don't have a phone. So say you don't got a phone, say your car break down, who you gonna call? You're gonna be on the side of the road looking silly when you could have called
Exactly.
AAA. AAA could have been there 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on what AAA. They be on board. They be taking forever, but they gonna come and fix the car, and then you calling around to your family, and they can't come do nothing. They have everybody at work. You don't know
Exactly.
these things, so it's to protect. Or something could have happened, like people go to a grocery store or a church or a school and they shooting. You need to, hey, I'm here, this is what's going on. You can't even call
Hmm.
nobody if you ain't got a cell phone. What you gonna send an airplane uh, message? What's
Like
going like?
Batman.
Yeah, like yeah, it's
Hey,
very
look.
it's very simple. It's very simple to get a phone. But I like that you like what you said. Like you break down every single thing. There's steps before you can even get to a certain point in the
Hmm.
course of talking to you. Like you got to know how to email and all those different things. And I think
Hmm.
that's very important for the elderly to understand that and just be able to function. Because like you said, like the doctor will send you emails, or guess what, you got a calendar. Hey, you can put everything that you need in your calendar, when you need to take x amount of pills, when you need to do this, we need to do that.
Yes.
Then like just having YouTube or having social media, you could see somebody your age working out and you like, hold on, let me start this. And now you working out, now you ain't got to take 15 pills. You only got to take 10. Now you ain't got to take 10. You only got to take 5. Just because you're learning different things. It's easier than going to the library. You don't even know what you need to grab at the library. You can go
Hmm.
look, Google anything you want. I be trying not to be an a-hole to
Hmm.
people, and they ask a question, be like, you could ask Google, right?
Oh my
Google.
god! But see, sometimes they just don't know. And then to touch back on what you was talking about, I forgot what you were saying about the cars, but I don't know if they got Zipcar where you at. Where are you located?
Indianapolis.
Okay, so they got Zipcar out here, right? And so that
Mm-hmm.
means like if my car, and this happened to me back in December, my car, you pay $7 a month. If your car break down, you can, it's at every metro station. You could get, catch a lift to the metro station. You got that car. And it's a horrible amount of money. Don't get me wrong. It's like $14 an hour. But you use your phone, you tap it, you can get right in the car and get up, drive it. The gas is included. And when I got in it, I was like, look how far technology has come to where I don't even have to go to a rental car agency. I could jump in a zip car. They just want to make sure you got to clean it out before you drop it back off, take pictures and this and that, you know. And I think that my goal is for seniors to get to that level where you understand that, everything has evolved. In fact, you could probably barely even get a rental car now since the pandemic. All them rental car companies have sold off their fleets and stuff. You might got to do Toro, or Zipcar or something like that, or a ride sharing or whatever. So I think I think they just got to understand the urgency in it. I'm trying to figure out who to reach out to that could benefit from it. I don't know if it's social workers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's their job to get these people on their feet when they become, labeled as incompetent.
Yeah. I don't know. We have to figure that one out. But I
Mm-hmm.
I definitely hope when people listen, please don't take the context, but actually listen to the information, because I think that's sometimes the problem with the
Mm-hmm.
seasoned generation. They take the context out of it, or how you might have said it, instead of actually listening to what you actually are saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're here to help. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is a great idea for the season gener. I always almost said the O word, the season generation, and to be able
Yes.
for them to participate in life. It's like you can book a trip. You ain't gotta go. Excuse me. You ain't gotta call your niece and be like, "Hey, set up the family trip for us." You can go on your
Mm-hmm.
phone and do it yourself. You can do everything that you want on your phone, and it's very simple. And I love that you're doing that. And it took for your grandma, for you to be like, hold on, they really don't know what's going on, and I need
Mm-hmm.
to help. because I really thought my grandma ain't never ever she ain't never have a cell phone. Like she ain't never have a big like a flat screen TV. I know like it took my buddy his dad to get a flat screen. He was no, I got this big screen. Man, if you don't get this wide body Chevrolet out of this living room and get you a flat screen TV that's gonna take out less space. And it's just so funny how like now they're like, ooh, I like this and this, and my mom like, well, I don't know how to, they might not know how to use the TV now because cable kind of went out the window. So it's just different stuff, and I love that you do that. So trying to think of it, like the 3 tips, like how which angle. As a person that helps the seasoned people, what can a seasoned person do to maybe reach out to you, or they can do like kind of on their own? First, so no, give 3 tips of what they can do on their own, and then we'll like kind of end it with how they can, how they can reach out to you and how you'll be able to help them and stuff of that sort. So 3 tips of how an elderly person can learn or figure out or whatever with technology. What can they do?
Okay, so my first tip actually will be for the seasoned people listen to this and their relatives is to be patient. So understand this. I noticed that when we're as millennials and even Generation Z, my children Generation Z, when we're teaching you or each other how to use stuff on the phone, I'm grabbing your phone and taking it from you because we're guessing too. I think that's not clear, that we're playing with our phones and we're guessing. So that's why we can't necessarily say, hey, do X, Y, Z. We're guessing too. So my first tip is be patient. My second one is understand that the appearance of competence changes. It changes and it's relative from year to year, generation to generation. And you either roll with it or they coming. I mean, I'm saying that from being in a nursing home setting, how it happened so quick. And when I saw it happen to my dad and how he didn't believe what I was saying, and I said, you look incompetent. They about to come in and try to lock you up and have you in a nursing home. And he did not believe me till they came in and said what I said. You're not competent. And this happened to my husband's relative too. I said that to him too. And it sounds crazy. I understand that what I'm saying sounds crazy. I completely understand. But understand, I'm coming from a position of empathy and coming from a position of insight. I've seen it. And it's not discussed and it happens in an instant. You labeled as incompetent because you're falling apart. You could just be having a mental breakdown as an older person, and you're considered belligerent, incompetent, combative, bam, in a nursing home. Just like that. Just one bad spell of being sick. So just understand that and accept that. The appearance of competence changes. My third tip is to stop procrastinating. Like I said earlier, I just learned this about myself. The definition of how I think is pessimistic. I do absolutely think worst case scenario in just about every situation. So I'm overly prepared. Like that's just my character. It's like I was born that way. And I think that it's important that you don't procrastinate and wait like, oh, I got another 5 years. Oh, I got another 30 days. You one accident away from being in a hospital and they saying we're not going to release you unless we know somebody's going to sign and say they're going to take care of you. So it ain't even about you just becoming sickly. You can get in a car accident and break your leg. Who gonna take care of you? Your children are working. Everybody's child is not going to stop working or even be able to stop working and take care of you. And this is coming from a self-employed woman. I'm self-employed where I can make my own schedule. And it wore me out to be my father's caregiver who didn't live with me. You want to stay independent? Of course, you fought hard for your independence. We all did. Since the time you start walking. So don't procrastinate on this and be proactive on this. And in regards to technology, understand it's not going nowhere. So, and then you said a quote. You ready for my quote?
No. Hey,
Not yet.
hey, you moving all quickly? Dang.
I wrote it down.
Oh, extra prepared. Oh, I'm extra ready. calm down. Hey, you done got extra height and went all into it. Oh man.
I'm ready.
Well,
I'm ready.
well. I guess you could go with the quote, and then you can tell people how they can reach you. Well, I guess you taking over the show. I'm gonna just sit back and I feel like the seasoned person. I'm gonna just sit back and let you go ahead and handle the show. Go ahead.
Look, I done took notes already. Look, as soon as you said, I said, let me write this down because I'm gonna be nervous and forget. Okay, so my quote is actually the quote for the business. My business is called Technology for Seniors. And it's basically we are a beautiful support system in a time of need. That's my quote. And you can reach me all I got a lot of businesses. So it's just better go straight to my .com. I am DawnWilliams.com. And everything's on there. And you'll see it. It'll say Technology for Seniors. That's one of the buttons. It'll go straight to my link tree. So that's how you find me.
All right. You sure that's make sure you got everything that you wrote down out. I don't want you forget nothing, ma'am. I'm just messing with you, but I love that quote and very simple. All you gotta do is go to the website, and the website has everything that you need. And that's one thing that I just had to get. The guest that's the episode that's dropping this Wednesday, she said something about having a website because what if social media, just ends? How people gonna reach you?
Yes.
And you gotta have that website. So doesn't matter what you're doing. And I know this kind of off topic, but it's still on topic because we're talking about technology. Make sure you have a website, whatever
Yes.
you're doing. Any closing words? Before we get, you didn't make me throw off. I said underground, but Underdog Talk podcast on all the social media. Well, not all, but Facebook and Instagram. Underdog Talk podcast at Gmail. If you have any criticism, if you have any good feedback, if you want to be a guest, if you know somebody that's a guest, if you want to be a sponsor, let me know. You can email me at underdogtalkpodcast@gmail.com. And I think that's all. Yeah, that's how you can reach me. Episode drops every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Do you have not anymore, but any closing words, Miss
I
Dawn?
do. I do, because you made me think of it with the .com. Anybody who's an entrepreneur, we do a lot of things. And that's why it just hit me to do I am DawnWilliams.com. Because if you do that, you can put all your businesses on one thing and you ain't got to worry about nothing else. That's it.
And on that note, peace, one love.